Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Ray, and welcome to Table Talks. Joining with me on the line is the experienced Linda Ray and Pete Johnston of the LindaReaTeam of Real Estate One. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Doing just fine, Tom. Thanks for asking.
Today, we want to focus on one of the departments of the LindaReaTeam, and that is the new construction department. Linda, can you shed some light on the new construction department for us?
Yes, I sure can. Listen, back in the day when we first started selling real estate, I knew that there was a need for new construction. And I was just fortunate enough to get some builders that was really good to teach me the business. I wanted to know the terms and how to represent an existing home with all the upgrades. And I knew I couldn't do that unless I had good experience in the new construction. And then of course, Pete came in, construction kept growing with different builders. So Pete came in and wow, Pete, how long has that been?
It's been at least 30 years now that we've been doing this.
That's a long time. And you know what? We're both still alive. Isn't that wonderful?
Yep, most people don't stay with a job more than a couple of years.
Yep, and therefore they don't have the experience. But I'm going to tell you what, with the team working the way that we do, it has been a wonderful ride. Pete is learned, and he is one of the finest people out there for management and taking care of a home while it's being built. I would not build a home without him. Absolutely would not even consider that. I've been saying that for many years. And it's because he is so good at what he does. He's hands-on and he's protecting that buyer as well as the builder. And I think that's one of the things that doesn't happen today. Everything is detailed, documented by both buyers and seller, and therefore there is just a whole lot less hiccups, isn't there, Pete?
That is correct.
And anything else you want to add to that you do to maybe really service our clients second to none?
Well, most important part is trying to make sure that the client understands the importance of trying to get our selections done and pricing and things like that, so it becomes a smooth process rather than hurry up and wait at the end of the process.
Well, I think also that would include, though, giving them the knowledge is like, where do they start, right? You have a
Yep.
series that you have a program that you go through. Can you tell us about that a
Yep,
little
we,
bit?
we have a recipe to hopefully make it easier for people. I actually go to the finish in order to do all the rough stuff. In other words, I have the husband and wife go out right off the bat and say, why don't you take a look at your appliances? What are you thinking that you need in the house? How about take a look at the style lights that you might, because maybe you want to have three for your chandeliers hanging down versus one and have them staggered in different heights. Those will all be things that I need to know in order to do your rough electrical, your plumbing and things like that, so that we know that if you want a fountain coming out of a wall for whatever reason, that we think about these finishing things first, rather than saying, oh, can we still add a faucet with water behind the cooktop after we've already drywalled?
You're also good at putting it out there to them so that they can start at stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, not throwing it all at them at one time.
That is correct. That's why we break it down into pieces so they understand it. And we're still going to get some things wrong or misunderstand, but at least we try to minimize the challenge so it's easier to work by.
When you're building a new construction site, back in the day, again, we wondered why people said once they built, they'd never build again. And we took those remarks, and we solved this program by making it where people don't have to say that anymore. And
Yeah.
I do know that we have a lot of repeats over the years that would not build with anybody else but us, right? Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
They seek us out for the next house and the next house. And by the way, when I go back in to a lot of our subs, especially in Rochester and Shelby, where we've built a lot of upgraded subs, I know the difference of who built that home. I can tell by the lack of nail pops, squeaky floors, the banisters don't shake. I can tell if it's one of the DM homes or the Farrow homes that we built over the years. I want to elaborate a little bit more, Pete, on that gives value to those people when they're reselling their home, by the way, because the bones were so good to begin with. The windows don't go as fast and the roofs and so forth. And I think that you'd agree with me on that. Is that right?
Yes, I agree.
And can you elaborate a little bit about maybe what we have in the marketplace right now for those who are in need of a house, like a spec home that needs something immediately?
Yeah, well, most of the builders that we work for don't wait for people to come in. They go ahead and they spend their money to build spec houses so that we have a combination of custom builds from scratch, as well as houses where we've initiated the start and they can jump in at another point in view and finish the home the way they want it as well. So that way we have a constant variety of homes that are under construction being tailored to possible changes and things like that that the new buyers may buy as well.
We're going to talk about what those spec homes are at this time, but I just thought of something else too that I really think that you are so good at, is that just offsetting just the appliances and light fixtures and everything else. Pete, we've built enough homes to know what works and what doesn't. We watched other people make mistakes. We watched people make some good changes, and we know how to share those with the public. But also, when you sit down with these clients to begin with, you really go into detail about floor plan and what their needs are to help them not make a mistake. How do you do that?
Well, you have to learn your client and figure out what it is that they're trying to achieve. In other words, when they come in and say, yeah, we're looking to downsize. And I go, is that because all the kids are gone? We need a one floor. Do we need a story and a half? What best suits your needs for today? But what about tomorrow when maybe grandma potentially or your mother-in-law potentially may have to come live with you? Are you set up for things that we don't know about yet? Okay. So with that said, a ranch will accommodate a lot of things, but at the same time, a ranch eats up a lot of space on the individual lots in the subdivisions that we're building right now.
The other thing too, I noticed that we have a lot of, and that is people that have the need of two en-suites.
That is correct. Okay. And that has to do with our society living older. And I use the place that's right next door to us at Valencia as a good example. If I had to put my mother-in-law away for a while, how much would that cost us? Ha ha ha. Or could we have that second ensuite where the care would be done with family members in the same house and the finances emerge in such a way that it doesn't put a burden on any one or the other while the other is transitioning to the various phases of life?
That can also lead into those who have teenagers at home that wants their own private ensuite as well.
Yep. Well, we have a lot of them now that don't go into jobs right off the bat, or the jobs become temporary, or they're constantly being redefined. So they're not where they can get established and save that money just yet they want their own independence. So likewise, in my own situation where I have that extra kid that came along 15 years later, he says, you know what? Maybe we can have an apartment where I have my own apartment where I can do my own thing and I don't intrude on you, mom and dad. Or likewise, the ensuite scenario where mother-in-law or my father comes to live with you and they have their own space and not feeling infringing on everybody else.
Which leads us to also lower levels that we also can finish off, and suggest, of course, that they usually wait a year before that's done, and the builder will come back and refinish that basement for them. Is that correct?
Right. Well, if we plan for the future, and we've done a number of paraplegics, quadriplegics, people with just basic walking injuries. And if you can plan for what you don't know about, maybe it's, we did one up in Traverse City where we did an elevator shoot, prepped and ready to roll for his potential change in life with multiple sclerosis or getting old, whatever you want to look at it. And so the house was all prepped for potential so that one would not have to give up the dreams, because the elevator will get you to the basement, first floor and second floor if need be. And you're really limited to whatever your physical disability is at that point in time or that phase in life.
Which also tells the public we build off-site.
That is correct.
As long as it's checked over the lot by the builder prior to, that's a very big thing, isn't it? Before they purchase a lot, they need to have the builder approve the property and save them from getting into some very big pitfalls that they can fall into, right?
That is correct. And hopefully in an area that will suit their future needs, whether it be church, a CVS as a drugstore, or a local hospital, wherever their doctors are, so they don't get too far out of a one dream and into something else.
Let's talk about the colonial homes that we prepare for those who's just starting out with their families and also maybe have 3 or 4 young children. We have a split level as well, but let's talk about the colonials and how popular they have become too to younger buyers.
Well, colonials traditionally are always cheaper to build, and you can get more for your bang with young families as you're growing up there, because you'll have your 4 bedrooms upstairs with the master up there. However, with a little bit of invention now, we're starting to come back to where we have and invite the aunt from our previous season to come live with you as she finishes out her life there, and brings in all the stories, the recipes, and all that. We can also take these colonials as well as a split and put, as you talked about earlier, that second ensuite or second master, so that they can have their second living and yet still be separate from the rest of the family if they want to be.
Well, let's bring in the two spec. Let's talk about the model first of all, the Valencia, and that is the one that has the bonus room on top.
Well, that particular plan was unique in itself. We came around right around the COVID time where we all couldn't work. And we said, let's throw a room above a ranch. That way you'd have an office, a study, a spare bedroom, depending on what circumstances you needed at certain times of your life. And that way you could go to work upstairs and yet still come downstairs, separate living there, and you could shut the door and leave work alone. However, as the COVID found out, a lot of us are working longer and harder because, you know what, we enjoy taking a 15-minute walk with the dogs and then come back home and work again. It's actually worked out pretty nice for most of the businesses.
One of the things that people really love about our homes is also the covered porches, the maintenance-free covered porches. Pete, let's talk about that.
Well, I had a gentleman in one of our other subs call back. He says, Pete, he says, you got me to spend more money than I wanted to. But he says, I enjoyed every detail that you wanted, including a Vatican-style foyer as we walked into the entrance house, as well as beautiful Crawford ceilings and things like that. But he says, I no longer have to go up north right now because I have this beautiful 70-foot long by 15 or 20-foot long, wide or deep covered patio. It didn't need screens on it for bugs or things like that, but it had this beautiful roof that covered over everything. He had a fireplace out there. He had a TV out there. He says, I no longer have to worry about my cabin up north. I'm going to go to Venice when they open up, or South America when I go up, or possibly even Mexico, or sail around the world. But I have my living here and I have my vacation home all in one, which means I could have spent more right here with less effort.
I'm going to have you speak to the specs that are available right now. Let's start with the Valencia and then move to Rochester Hills.
We have several specs over here in our Valencia, or our lower half of the Shelby Township areas. Right now, we have 2 ranches that are available right now. One being our model, which is approximately 3,100 square feet. That's because we did add the bonus room to cover porch and things like that. And currently, it's priced at $855. Whereas directly across the street, I have the same floor plan with less or different types of details that were less costly, including I don't have that bonus room upstairs, and that's priced at $700,000. So again, you see a house of about $100,000+ difference, and that was strictly in the finishes. In other words, instead of hardwood floors, we did tile. Instead of plain ceilings, we did artistic Crawford ceilings and lights and things like that. So there are many ways to get what you need, depending on how you think about what your extras are going to be. If you're getting a mortgage today, whatever it takes to get a mortgage, approximately 30 days, we'll be done with one house. I'll move across the street. We can have the model sold, or vice versa. The one that's under construction right now is less than 30 days away from completion. Now, also in the same sub, we have a very beautiful colonial, about 3,000 square foot. It does back to the woods out back. Like I said, 3,000 square foot, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And it's got lots of potential with the woods in the back in terms of some serenity and peacefulness away from the rest of the world when we come home from work. And then last but not least is we have one vacant lot, which coincidentally, the holiday spurred buyers to come back out again. And right now I have 2 people vying for the same lot at lot 45. And the question will be, who's going to come up with the idea that's most feasible and affordable for everybody to build right now.
We're also enjoying the fact that DM is offering a $10,000 buyer bonus on those as well.
Yep.
if purchased within the next 30 days, which could give them the ability to buy their interest rate down.
Well, we got all spoiled with all the interest rates going below 6%. So now we have to look back and say, okay, what was the norm for many, many years? Well, my parents paid off their house 20 years ago, and the normal rate back then was 6%. And we had that for many, many years. Now, when the economy went wacko, when prices of materials went up, now the interest rates are trying to balance that out. People are concerned about how much is that payment going to be? Well, the builders will now come out with other ideas or incentives to help buy points down or get extras done if maybe the cash is still a way to go with you. And that way you can still achieve in this economy that seems to be a little uncertain right now, achieve what you're looking for. And that's that new home for your next season of your life.
Yeah, so I'm sure that the interest rates will come back down again.
Absolutely. And that time, your lender, I'm sure, will go ahead and refinance you for less, a lesser rate than what he did the first time for you.
Let's jump over to the Saddlebrook subdivision in Rochester Hills.
So Saddlebrook is our newest subdivision there, and that is down on the southern half of Rochester Hills there. It is just east of Crooks Road and north off of Auburn Road. There are only 10 lots available in this sub. It's a niche subdivision, and we intentionally bought this sub to keep busy right now. And like I said, we offer basically two plans in that subdivision. A ranch is approximately 2,000 square foot, and a colonial, which is approximately 2,600 square foot. Okay. So with that said, and then we had two larger lots on the back that could handle just about anything. And these are going to be lots that are people that are not looking to have neighborhoods. They're just looking to be convenient around the Troy area, because you're right down Troy's one block away from there. You got families dining in that area. You're just looking to build that next nice home for whatever you need, whether it be a ranch or colonial. And that's what we're offering down there is maybe less choices of that because we have only 10 homes, but something that'll be the next phase of doing your needs for your life right now.
Very low traffic there, very serene with woods everywhere.
Yep.
Okay, so let's swing over to the potential of our new subdivisions coming.
Depending on which builder that we're working for today, we have a brand new sub that will hopefully be opening up later on this year. And that will be the north side of Shelby Township, north of 25 Mile Road, east of Shaner. And that home is going to offer like what's called a planned unit development, PUD, where we'll have multiple price points in that subdivision from lesser priced homes. And I don't have those yet to release to you yet, but hypothetically $300,000 or $400,000, and you would have a beautiful small starter home versus maybe on the more elegant side of things, we may have homes that are in the 800s, but those are still to be determined based on the economy and when we get these roads in and when we can open up the sub and get things rolling. So up to that point, though, we may have other lots or subdivisions that we'll pick up along the way. We just sold off another one rather than waiting. And I also planning to open up one in Sterling Heights here very shortly as well. That will start just below 600,000. That will be a ranch. And then we do offer the split and colonials as well. And then we also have Chesterfield. Chesterfield will be the furthest out that we have at this point in time. Those are new starter homes, but they're still starting at the high fives or low 600s right now, just based on the cost of building these houses right now. And it's a beautiful community out there. And we're getting ready to open up phase 2 out there right now. There's some bubbling ponds. You're near all sorts of shopping. And the most important part is freeway. If you go down to either Detroit or up to Richmond, you get whatever you want or drop down to M59 and cross over. So it's a beautiful sub, great location. And you should be able to retain all your friends no matter what side of town based on the freeway system nearby.
Yeah, I tell you, he's a wealth of information, guys, and he's a great project manager. And if you are contemplating that you would like to have a new home, you can't find exactly what you want out there, bring it to us. We're custom. We can make things. That doesn't always mean more money. That means sometimes things can be swapped out, changed here or there. Not everybody likes exactly the same ice cream, nor do they like the same house. Therefore, this has been something that's been in the making for years with Pete and I, with our builders. I've loved what they've trained us to do, and I've loved sharing with them our expertise in real estate. For example, if you have a home to sell first, we know how to help you to make that merge together with the sale of your home, the purchase of your home, and be able to save you lots of time and money. So you have a new construction question, you can call me at 248-709-3786, or Pete, they can call you at
248-770-8660.
And it's always wise to get a private appointment so that you're not at the models with people coming in and out and interrupting your private time. So we are available. And Tom, thank you so very much. It's an exciting year. I think a lot of people are already starting to understand, get that home now while it's affordable. The interest rates should come back down. And again, remember, our builders are offering to help you to buy those points down so that we can get you a better interest rate. Thanks, and see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for being a part of Table Talks. Talk to you later.